when my friend Caleb proposed a road trip to research the legend of La Llorona. I was skeptical but reluctantly agreed to document his ghost hunt on video. As a folklore nerd, Caleb was obsessed with the chilling tale of the weeping woman who haunts bodies of water, doomed to eternally mourn her drowned children. We arrived on the outskirts of Albuquerque as dusk fell and made our way to a remote pond flanked by cattails and snarled trees. According to legend, La Llorona, a woman named Maria, had drowned her kids here centuries ago in a fit of rage. Now her anguished wails echoed nightly as she searched for her lost children. The pond had become a hotspot for La Llorona sightings. But to me it just looked forlorn, not haunted. I faithfully filmed as Caleb set up his equipment, then began addressing the camera excitedly. La Llorona, we come in peace to hear your story. Caleb called out dramatically to the water. Give us a sign you're here. I suppressed a smirk as the pond remained still. But Caleb continued his one-sided conversation with the folk spirit. If she was present, she wasn't chatting back. Just as I was about to suggest leaving, a low moan drifted through the trees, raising goosebumps on my arms. Caleb looked at me wide-eyed. Tell me you got that, bro. Ask her to appear again, politely. I cleared my throat awkwardly. La Llorona, could you please let us see you? We want to help you find peace. The pond remained calm. Then another anguished wail pierced the night, this time louder and closer. Caleb and I hugged each other in shock and delight. There was no faking the eerie sounds surrounding us. Maybe La Llorona was answering. We took turns calling gently to her spirit. The ghastly cries came repeatedly, each seemingly nearer. But our only visual was a swirling mist rising ominously from the water. Maria, what happened to your children? Caleb asked. We want to understand. A thundering splash responded as a figure broke the pond surface, rising to stand before us, soaked and weeping. In the moonlight, I could make out the decomposed features of a young woman in a tattered white gown. Caleb gasped, "It's her." He reached out a hand as if to embrace her as she loomed closer. My skin crawled in terror, but we were trapped against the pond now. Just before the spirit's slimy claws could grasp us, a blinding light flashed out of the darkness, followed by a gruff voice. Dios mío, get away from there. A stooped elderly man waved a lantern at the shrieking apparition until it retreated into the water and faded from view. We both sagged in relief and thanked the stranger profusely. He frowned, gazing at the now placid pond. You boys stirred up more than you can handle. Come with me before she regains her strength. Back at the old man's cottage, he introduced himself simply as Jorge. Over mugs of tea, he told us the true story of La Llorona. She was my sister Maria long ago, not a vengeful ghost, he sighed. When famine struck our village, in despair she drowned her 2 sons to spare them starving. But it drove her mad with grief. She fled into the wilderness, living as an animal near the pond, screaming gibberish about her missing babies. According to Jorge, when locals found Maria's body years later, the fearful tales began. But her tormented spirit simply lingered where she perished, locked in mad delusion, reliving her heinous act. I sat stunned at Jorge's account. La Llorona was no homicidal ghost, just a grief-crazed, guilt-ridden mother unable to move on. Caleb looked crushed. I thought we could help her spirit find justice. But she doesn't realize her kids are long gone or that she's dead. She's just trapped. Jorge nodded sadly. 4 centuries now. My poor sister is beyond reaching. As we processed this, a chilling wail arose outside. Jorge paled. Something has changed. Her cries are usually distant, but she sounds close. Begone, both of you. He shoved us out the door just as a shrieking apparition materialized, waterlogged dress clinging to her skeletal frame. Empty black eyes fixed on Jorge with predatory rage. Caleb and I could only watch in horror as she set upon her brother. Her icy claws grasping his throat as her unearthly screams filled the night. Until finally she disappeared again into the darkness, leaving Jorge's shredded body behind. We staggered back to the lonely pond in silence, minds shattered. I turned on my camera, starting to film again in a haze. The legend was wrong, but the danger was real. Poor lost Maria was growing violent in her delusions, unable to recognize family or friend from foe. And we had agitated her tortured psyche to a tipping point. What do we do? Caleb whimpered, eyes wet with tears. We find a way to grant her the peace in death she never found in life, I replied, surprising myself with my own determination. Caleb's face hardened with resolve. For Jorge. We lit candles around her pond and set flowers to honor Maria's innocent drowned sons. As Caleb recited prayers for her tormented soul in Spanish, my camera caught a dark female figure rising from the water. But this time her posture was tired, mournful. I felt only profound sorrow as she glided closer. Your children have been at rest for centuries, Maria, I said gently. They are safe now. You can let go, join them in that peace. Be free. Her apparition paused, wavering, before emitting a final sob that echoed across the pond like a sigh. As we watched awestruck, the spirit slowly dissolved into mist. No more wailing emerged from the night. Only consoling silence. Caleb laid a last flower, smiling through tears. She's with her family now. We embraced like brothers, overcome with emotion after laying La Llorona's burdened soul to rest. I left my camera rolling beside the pond as we walked away, just in case Maria had any last messages from the afterlife now welcoming her home. Reviewing the footage later, I jolted when Caleb's prayer is suddenly drowned out by a bone-chilling screech. But listening closer, it almost sounds like a cry of release. Of relief. And in my heart, I know we did not witness evil in action that night, but profound, tragic love. A mother's undying love lingering beyond death. Sometimes ghosts only haunt because they cannot understand they should stop. They forget the peace found in letting go. So rest well, Maria. No one who hears your story will forget. Your wails carried more sorrow than any demon knows. Some evils are not of the supernatural, but the suffering of the living. And those lost in that place between planes need only find the light left to guide them home again. Until we meet again in gentler realms. The weary traveler has completed her journey at last.